Welcome everyone to Unicorn Light Tarot. Such a pleasure to be here today. Welcome all new subscribers and welcome everybody who is returning. Such an honor to read for you today. So I thought today we would concentrate on love. Why not? Get you some practical advice, all about practical advice here at Unicorn Light Tarot, so you can integrate all of that advice and beauty and all of those specific messages into your life and become the best version of you. So today what we will be working with is what you need to know or what you need to heal in order to be able to attract the one or your significant other. As we all know, I'm not saying that everybody has to have their life completely together before they meet the other one. And you know, that very often doesn't happen. But at the same time, there should be an area in your life, there should be this understanding, this beauty within of self-acceptance. And that's usually when you are okay with yourself. You send out that energy and it's almost like a sort of a beacon, a call to your other half, or not your other half necessarily, but your significant other to come in and follow that beacon of light and find you. So that's what we're going to do for you today. So we're always looking for messages of love and light and higher frequency. So we're going to be calling in our guides today to give you that information. So as always, we have 3 piles. I thought it would be really fun. I love using these fridge magnets. I know that you don't know what the words are. I do know the words, but I don't know which pile has which corresponding word. So the word gives you a little bit extra information. Sometimes it lays the context for your reading. So that's why I like using them. And so we're just going to breathe into our energy. We're just going to ground into our energy. And we're going to think love, 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 loving thoughts. The more self-love you have in general is the more that you can see it outside of yourself. And I know I'm going to take a moment right now. I know there's a lot of, this is a timeless reading, but I know there's a lot of sort of fearfulness out there right now. And we just want to bring you back to your heart center and your heart space so we can concentrate on love. So we're going to have this little love bubble today and get you all the information that you need. So as always, 3 piles, and do your best to really feel and resonate. Again, you don't know the words, but resonate with the pile. It's totally fine to pick more than one. Just go with the pile that's sort of calling your name, as it were. I'm going to pin all of the details down below so you can go, timestamps, so you can go straight to your pile whenever you decide what it is and find out all of your advice and whatever it is that you need to do, or advice that we can give you to attract that special person into your life. And I do want to remind everybody, these are general readings. They should resonate pretty quickly. If they don't, feel free to go back and choose another pile. And again, if it doesn't resonate this time, that's perfectly fine too. That is the nature of the general readings. We try to give you as much advice and as much information as possible, but really at the end of the day, of course, they are general. We're trying to widen the information so we can bring as many people, advice to as many people as possible. So just bear that in mind. All right, let's get going on the reading. We're going to put these beautiful piles aside just for now. Okay, pile 1, this is yours. If you chose pile 1, then hot is your word. Well, you can't get better than hot if you're looking for love, right? So I'm going to put that right now. I have a few different ideas about what that is, but I want to see what our oracle and tarot cards say first. So we will return to that word, absolutely. So bear with me. All right, so we have patience, Archangel Jovial. Your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. So that's your first card. And then we have creative writing, Archangel Gabriel. Make time to write down your thoughts in a journal or pen, an article, or a book. Wonderful. Okay, I choose to be a super attractor and have unwavering faith in the universe. Well, that's a beautiful card. We have the 2 of Autumn here. Balance, yes. Bring fun into everything you do, juggling multiple priorities or jobs, and exceptional talent for multitasking. Okay, we have Tara, new beginnings here. We have the Fool here. But it is reversed, that's fine. But you also have Magic, Isis, that is absolutely wonderful, that is not reversed. And then we have Gratitude here, purple, 7th chakra, right right at the top of the head here, which is wonderful. Gratitude also, I always associate gratitude too with the heart chakra. We've got the heart right here. So there's a few different things going on, the messages that we can get you here. So let's just work with a few of these. So the first thing I can say, pile one, is just relax. Now, I know that you probably don't like hearing this, and I totally understand. It's like when you're walking down the street and you're thinking and somebody tells you to smile and you're like, oh, leave me alone, that sort of thing. But bear with me, pile one. There is a relaxing, there is a side to your personality, and you do have this sort of childlike, beautiful sense to your personality. You don't always bring it into the essence of what it is that you want to do to get things done. So you're very practically minded. You have this sort of go get attitude, which is absolutely wonderful. And again, you have this earthy, pragmatic sense of self, which is wonderful, right? It's not easy to multitask. People, think that it's really easy. I used to be a waitress and, oh, that's a really easy thing to do. It's not. It's, it's tough under pressure. You're multitasking. If you're good at what you do, it's actually a very difficult job. Now, you can do all of this. You're very good at multitasking. But I think that in some ways you can take on too much. So for those of you who are longing for love but have not created enough space for it, there are ways in which you can create a little bit of room in your life to create space, a little bit of room in order to attract it. And it's very easy. It's create some space for yourself. That's how you do. It's a mirror effect for you. So if you create a little bit of space for yourself and be very clear about what it is that you want. Now, there's also a little bit of dichotomy here, a little bit of difference between who you think you want versus who you should be open to. So I feel as though it's really excellent to put down what you want. I'm all about lists. I'm putting lists down and writing lists down. I think I've said this in an earlier video, but before I met my significant other, before I met my husband, I actually took a course and they told me to write like really informed lists, something I would not have done on my own. But I did. And when I looked back on it many, many years later, I found that honestly, my significant other ticked off everything. But he also ticked off other avenues that I didn't really think about. So I think for you, the message that I'm getting for you is that you hold on to things very tightly. It is very good to know exactly what you want, but then you've got to let it ruminate. You've got to give some space to it and allow things to come to you. I feel as though there's a sort of an essence of control, and some of it could be time management. I don't have a lot of time, so this is what, this is the energy that I'm going to give it. And in this time, in this energy, this is what I'm putting out there, and it's very specific, and this is what I want. But I feel as though with an essence of control, what we lose here is a sense of fun and a sense of whimsy and a sense of, let's see how it happens. Let's see how it goes. I feel as though there's almost sort of a holding on to a little bit too tight. And then sort of not reaping the rewards. So choosing to be a super attractor. And again, for those of you who are out there, you are actually super attractors, but what it is that you do, you're very specific about what you want. And the visualization, I feel as though you're very, very excellent at. But what you're not very good at, or up to this point, I would say, what maybe you need a little help with, is releasing that idea of what it is that you want into the universe. I think you have a very specific idea of what it is, and then you put all of your energy into that one thing. Now, when we put out our ideas and our understanding of what we want to the universe, yes, it's really good to be specific so you can have an idea of what it is that you want. But then afterwards, what you do, part of what we do here is we say to the universe, okay, that's what I think I want. Okay. Universe, you know better, because they're looking down. They see absolutely everything. They see absolutely every crevice of our soul in ways that we don't. I'm going to leave it up to you now. That's the stage that we want you at, pile one. And that's the stage where it's not like, I'm giving up control. You're not doing that. But there's the fun and the whimsy that comes along with it. And ironically enough, by surrendering, you're not letting go. There's a difference between letting go. And I think there's been a little bit of confusion here. Letting go seems as though, I'm letting it go, it's not going to happen. No, if you surrender, you automatically pull in balance, which is beautiful for you, to get back that balance. And also surrendering brings you back into the faith of pulling you back into your own magic. Now, you have a lot of passion here, pile one. But I feel as though you keep that passion sometimes under lock and key. Certain people, certain situations see it. What your angels and what I'm being told is, pile one, is that they want you to sprinkle that passion over absolutely everything. Now, you have a lot of passion and a lot of power. Sprinkle a little bit of every avenue and every crevice of your life. It sounds a little icky, right? But every part and portion of your life. Spread a little bit of that whimsy, that fun, that passion. A little shift in perspective is all you need. And I feel as though for some of you who have lost a little bit of hope because you put out the vibes and you're really, really trying to attract somebody, here's what I would say. And it sounds counterintuitive, but stay with me. Try a little less. Have a little bit more faith. Have a little bit more fun in whatever it is that you want to do. Also, the gratitude, I feel for some of you who are looking back on and looking at this as a way of trying to figure out, again, and it's really good to look back on past relationships. What did I learn from that? So you can release yourself completely from it and move forward. And of course, your significant other, it's nice when, you meet your significant other and you've both done the work, right? Now, I feel as though you have done the work. I feel like you over focus with the work. I feel like you constantly go back and back and back over certain situations in order to see what else. Maybe I missed something. There's no reason to do that. I feel as though, yes, the patience comes in too. The one thing that, I'm being told to tell you is that, again, there's an essence of control. You might want to look back on the understanding of control versus alignment. When you're in an alignment, you have faith. You know it's happening. And you let it go. And then you have this sort of whimsy of life. I wonder what will happen. Versus like, I wonder when it will happen. See the difference. You might be in the latter part of it. Understanding that there's absolutely so many things that happen behind the scenes that we're not in control of, that we don't see. And things can happen very quickly in our life. Like our life can change within seconds and we have no idea that everything was leading up to that one moment. And I mean, change in a very, very specific moment, very, very quickly, out of nowhere. And, to you, it may seem out of nowhere, but the universe is working with us systematically, almost undercover, doing what they need to do. So again, it's about faith, giving everything room to germinate, to grow, and having faith that everything that you've done, or the effort that you've put in, or the visualization that you put in will actually pay off in ways that you cannot possibly imagine, right? So just have that faith. For some of you who are like, I don't see any evidence right now. What else do I need to do? You need to daydream, that whimsy, spread that passion, that joy. The other thing that I'm getting too is to come back into your own magic when there's a little bit of I keep getting the word despair for some of you. Again, this is a general reading, but for some of you, there is a little bit of this despair of, I've done all this work, it's not really happening, or you're manifesting people that aren't quite right, or the almost, right? But not who you are completely interested in. It's because you're over-focused on the person, not on the situation of love. Now, if you keep the essence of love, and again, people say this all the time, keep the essence of love with you all the time. It's all about loving yourself first. Yes, it is. But, we can take that one step further. Again, sprinkling that sort of love everywhere you go, sprinkling that sort of essence of joy and that childlike, I wonder what will happen today. And taking yourself a little bit out of the mundane the mundane way of seeing the world. Now, I know that can be difficult if you have a 9 to 5 and you've got things going on, and maybe you think the situation that you're in doesn't really call for not necessarily joyful, but like whimsy. But every situation calls for joy and whimsy, bringing you back to the center of magic that is you. And that's going to pull in this person a lot quicker. It really is. And being grateful for all of the situations that you've been through, obviously, but I think being grateful for yourself in this process that you've been involved in trying to bring somebody into your life. There's a forcefulness to it that just needs to sort of open up. And in that forcefulness, you've forgotten the magic that is you. You've actually forgotten how brilliant you are and how lucky somebody would be to have you. So returning to that state of grace. So I'm going to say this is, a card of gratitude, but I'm going to move this one step forward. Pile 1, this is a card of grace for you. Standing in that sort of and letting out all of that stress and standing in that moment and really reveling in the person that you've become. You have gone through so much. You have seen so much. You have helped so many people. Help yourself by just standing in your own power for a second and really revel in the person that you are, and just be grateful for who you are, and just say, you know what? Whoever this person comes in, whoever they are, they're going to be real lucky to have me. And that is absolutely true, Pile 1. Really just sit there. There's so many things that are going to happen in your life. I do feel as though there are these new beginnings coming in. I know for some of you, you don't feel that because you keep going around in these circles and circles and circles. A very small shift in perspective will break those cycles and you will see everything anew. That's all that's asked for here. Now, for some of you, I'm getting something very specific here. So bear with me. Excuse me, it might sound a little bit crazy, but the creative writing, again, we're going to take it one step further. Creative writing, for those of you who are feeling a little bit blocked to love and a little bit, again, going around in these cycles and wanting to feel the joy and want to spread the whimsy and a little bit of passion everywhere. But in order to give you some practical tips to be able to do that, instead of doing your usual list that you will do, Pile 1, which again, I'm all for, but let's approach this differently. Let's approach this with a little bit more whimsy, right? Why don't you take your journal and actually write a creative story? Write the story of how you meet your significant other, right? Write a romantic story. Now, you can take yourself completely out of it and have yourself as, a protagonist, as a character, right? But let your imagination flow. What are the feelings? What are the circumstances that happen? And again, the circumstances that you actually meet them might be a little bit different. But take that creative writing, take this exercise, get out of your pragmatic brain, come back into your power. And for those of you who are like, oh, I'm not a writer, we're not asking you to go out there and publish it. Although for some of you who are actually writers, this could be an excellent exercise for you. Have fun with it. Do not write as if somebody's looking over your shoulder. Write as if nobody else but you will ever see it. That's how you get the freedom around your writing, right? I don't want you to in any way sort of box yourself in when you're writing. Write your love story. That's going to bring in the whimsy. That's going to help you shift from the mundane, the very practical side, back into your power, back into that magic, and bring back the joy. I think you've forgotten, for some of you, you've forgotten the joy. You've lost the hope. You've lost the joy of what it is to attract love into your life. And again, of course, the love and the whimsy should already be in your life. And it's instead of seeing it as somebody who's going to completely complete you, it's more seeing it as somebody who's going to bring in some extra energy and some extra magic and mysticism, right? So take it back to square one. Go back to the paper. For those of you who don't like writing, you can, dictaphone. There's, on most phones these days, just talk it through. Talk through how you meet them, how you feel, what they look like. Really get back into that fun essence, and then do not control, release it. Release. your creative writing after that and see where it goes. But really enjoy this shift, this sense of gratitude, and the sense of trust. Please allow the universe to do their job in bringing you that magic. Yes, you have that magic. That's great. But there's no point in controlling your magic. It's really about, for you, Pile 1, your word is expansiveness and hot. Hot's expansive. Right? Fire is expansive. Good luck trying to contain it. That's where we want you to be. Let it all go and see where it ends up. Remember, not control, alignment. Not control, alignment. So, and give yourself a little bit of patience. But I do see something shifting for you. So really, at the end of the day, we want to remind you that everything that's seemingly happening behind the scenes, you have no idea what's happening. So for those of you who are like, oh, nothing's happening, you do not know that. You absolutely do not know that. Please have faith and trust in your universe. They are bringing you somebody that is far beyond even what you could imagine, but we still want you to imagine it, right? We still want you to imagine them. Bring in that joy, bring in that whimsy, do what you can to be that person, that that person that's going to absolutely love and adore this person coming in. All right, Pile 1, that's the advice that we have for you. So like, comment, subscribe. Would love to have you, and wishing you a lot of peace and light. And I hope this resonated, and sending you so much love and support here, Pile 1. And until we meet again, you take care. Bye-bye. Okay, Pile 2, this is yours. So again, this is a reading here. We are getting you some practical information. What do you need to know? What do you need to heal? What do you need to shift to bring in that special someone? And your word is scream. That's kind of amazing. There's many different ways that we can see that. So how we could interpret this. And of course, screaming and passion is the first thing that pops into my mind. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm also feeling for some of you fire signs too, energy of Sagittarius. That could be Sagittarius, Aries. You may have that energy coming into your life. You may have a lot of fire in your chart. The other thing that I'm feeling with the scream too is to really physically let things out, so you can have this brand new beginning in order to be able to have the room and the space to attract the person that you want. But let's get in here and see what they say. What the cards say. I feel my way into faith one step at a time. Okay, beloved one. Archangel Chamiel. Let's see. I am helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. Well, hello. You got the angels on this pile too. I'm not surprised. Archangel Gabriel, nurture. As you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child. Both activities are important for you right now. Well, you have the wheel. Number 10 here. Delays are over. Sudden and unexpected good luck. A new car or travel. That's wonderful. Princess of Cups. I love that. You also have the Four of Cups. And you have self-worth here with the orange. Okay, so there's a few different things going on, pile 2. So the first thing that I'm getting is there is a difference in how you see yourself and how you are perceived in the world. Now, that often happens. But I feel as though you're very hard on yourself. That's the first thing that I'm getting, pile 2. So, knock it off. Real talk here, knock it off. I know people say that and it's easier said than done. But I feel as though there's a reason why. And, I'm really drawn to this. I'm really drawn to this card right now. This is you in the middle and all of your angels around. I feel as though, pile 2, you really are very you have empathic, a beautiful soul, very, very sensitive. You're very sensitive in ways that people don't even realize. I feel as though, again, I get a sense of, the version you have, you're like a chameleon in different circumstances, and you really do deserve love. I feel as though you've come a long way in how you nurture yourself and how you see yourself. There's still remnants, there's still a little bit of work to do with the self-worth, but you're there. You can see the end result of who you are. I feel as though, there is a beauty in you that's absolutely, a tenderness in you, which is absolutely beautiful. And there's a tenderness in you that has been hurt because it's not always been protected. I feel as though in the past you haven't had those boundaries up, but I feel as though you've worked really hard on those boundaries. You've really had to, actually. So I feel as though what I'm being told here is that for you, the Scream 2 is a release, to hear your own voice, to hear your own version of the story, to release all of that past and be ready for a brand new beginning. I feel as though for you, it's very difficult for you to see the wood for the trees. You get into these negative sense of self very quickly, and I can tell you how this happens. It's a very specific cycle where you get your hope, you put all, excuse the cliches here, but you put all your eggs in one bucket. When you don't see the results immediately because you put so much energy into it, you start to lose a little bit of faith, and then the sort of self-doubt comes in, and then the doubt it sort of becomes a catalyst into, then I'm not really worthy. If it's not happening, then I'm doing something wrong. And you take it back into a sort of a very personal level. So I'm reminded of a story here. So bear with me. It's about, the universe looking at every aspect of your life, and everything that you ask for is wonderful, but we don't always ask. Sometimes we ask from a pragmatic standpoint. We don't always ask from our own heart. So when we ask for something, the universe says, all right, well, we're gonna prepare them for something much better. So I feel as though, if you've not gotten what it is that you've asked for in the past, pile 2, it's because the universe wants more for you. So I feel as though there's been a system of events where you've asked for things and they've not been delivered, and you've lost that hope a little bit. And I see you closing your eyes, very much like our beautiful Four of Cups here, but she's closed her eyes. She has this beautiful water behind her, right? She has everything she needs. There are cups here, but she's not opening her eyes. So there's been a very specific cycle, right? And I feel as though you do put everything in there. You do, when you do think of something and you do want something, you put all your energy behind it, but it's not necessarily the right thing for you. So I feel as though there's been a little bit of a loss of hope, but I do feel as though the sensitive nature of who you are, you have this incredible guardian angel. You're also working with ancestors and passed over loved ones. I can feel everybody around you absolutely working to bring the right person into your life. And I feel as though in the past you've not had good people around you. And I feel really, really sad. It makes me want to feel, there's a sadness there. I feel the sadness, a little feeling of sadness in the heart. And that's where the Scream is too, to release, to hear your own pain, to let it go once and for all. I feel as though for some of you, to pull back your power, you might actually, for those of you who are not aware, I'm actually a writer too. So my book, Healing Witchcraft in a Conformist World, there's actually a chapter on women screaming. So you can hear the pain coming out. Very often, for those of you who identify as being female, which and even if you don't, this is really for everybody for the most part. But I do feel as though for females particularly, we've been taught to sort of dumb everything down and get on with it, be the caretakers. And we don't often connect with our voices the way that we should. And we don't often connect with our pain in the way that we should. And if you want the ultimate release, sometimes it really is going out and like connecting with your scream and your pain. You can hear it. You can really, really hear it. And the way that men are encouraged to use their voice in this world, in this life, particularly in the sort of the patriarchal version of events, is not the way that females are. So I'm going to encourage you, and if you are interested in checking out that chapter in the book, I think there's definitely a way to get it free too on Amazon. I'm not entirely sure, but it really is about reconnecting to your voice. It's a way to bring back your power. And I feel as though for pile 2, it's very good for you to be able to do that. Now you can go out, take a ride in your car, go out somewhere, in the middle of nowhere, and you don't have to necessarily scream, but use your voice to connect to the past so you can release it completely and pull back your power and ground it back in to the earth. This is something that you can do. This is your self-nurturing. You've learned boundaries, you've figured things out in that way, you have learned to nurture yourself. But I feel as though by hearing who you are, by connecting back into your voice in this very powerful way. Now, if for those of you who are, oh, I could never do that, I could never scream, I know it sounds really silly, but start with a pillow. I know it sounds really silly, but start with a pillow and put your head into that pillow and start. It's really important for you to develop this understanding of self and to develop that voice and that power back. Once you're cleansed from that path and you're passed in that way, then this sort of this negativity that you can get into, and this loss of hope and this disconnection from your angels in the universe who are delivering the best person for you, will be shed. You won't be going down the sort of rabbit hole that you've been going down before. You can sort of approach looking for love and having the process be a fun and exciting way, which is for you, it's been kind of exhausting, and it's not been as fun, and the hope has been lost across the way, right? Now, let's talk about these two cards. Let's talk about the Wheel and let's talk about the Princess of Cups. Now, there is nothing here that suggests that you are not moving forward and that the work that you have done has not, that's been in vain. It has not. Everything that you've done to move forward, and I feel like you've been slowly but surely gaining momentum as you've been moving forward. I feel as though for a lot of you, and again, this is a general reading pile too, you've had a rough time of it with love. You really have. And there is definitely some healing in the heart that needs to be done, which can be helped with the scream. Again, pulling back your power. I feel as though you're very, very powerful, but you've often hid your power in relationships because your significant other or the other person that was with you were intimidated by you. Obviously, you're looking for somebody who's not going to be intimidated by you, but it's going to actually be in awe of you. And that's where you're at. But I feel as though you've hidden yourself so many times. You need to pull those certain aspects of you back, certain powerful aspects of you back, because you've sort of hidden them so well. You've hidden them now from yourself. But I feel as though you've done all of this work. We're just giving you a few little tips and tweaks here to just shift perspective. And then once that happens, the wheel happens, which means that the wheel has actually been shifting and turning very slowly. But the direct action from what you've been doing and how you've been working, especially with your power, if you connect with it in this dramatic way that you're owed, by the way, I feel as though will bring in brand new results really quickly. The first thing that it's going to do, it's going to restore your power and your energy to who you were before these people came in and took a little bit of it, this, that, and the other. I feel as though people have borrowed your strength over the years, and you've often given strength when you didn't have enough to give. And this is just who you are, this sensitive, beautiful person. And even though, again, you might have that chameleon aspect, even though people may not know exactly how sensitive you are because you hide it, you do have that sort of really soft, beautiful underbelly. So you've often given more than you could at the time, and it has shown. You frayed a little bit, pile two, but we can bring you back. You have been working one step at a time. You've been working with all of the healing one step at a time. So because you've been aware that you couldn't gallop forward in the healing, there was so much to do. So you did it slow, steadily, and you did it well. So these are just really last moment things, again, to tweak perspective, to bring in those results all so much quicker, to bring you back into yourself. But and I want to sudden, unexpected good luck. It's not even luck. You've prepared this road. I keep seeing like Hansel and Gretel kind of, going into the forest. You planted these seeds throughout onto your path all the way through. So you're about to see these results. All you just need to do, again, is this, and it may seem a little dramatic, but connect your voice to that power. Bring back your magic. And that's your specific nurturing for you. The self-worth is there. there. You only question your self-worth when you go down that rabbit hole of, oh, what's going on? Why isn't this happening? You need to reconnect again and have that faith with your guardian angels, who are plentiful. You've asked them to help you. Give them the space to do that, but help them help you by regaining your strength, regaining that power, regaining your voice. And here's the thing, pile 2, I'd be really interested, once you do this exercise, right, if you decide to do it, we can only make suggestions. I would never tell you you have to do this. But if you do, and however you decide to regain your voice and your power, it would be interesting to note what kind of person you think you would be looking for after you've regained all that it is that's been given away, right? I think the reason why you haven't actually found the perfect person, right, just yet, is because there's a little bit of a tweak in what it is that you think you want versus what it is that you actually need, right? And really bringing your power back will just inform you tenfold of who it is that you want. And once that clarity of vision is there, they're going to come right in. So yeah, do let me know, pile 2, if any of this resonated. Of course, like, subscribe, comment. Always love hearing from you. Do let me know if you do get the book, or you do the exercise, connect your power and that voice in that way with the scream. And then, of course, the scream will be later on when you meet your significant other, right? So there's many different ways of seeing that, but I'm really excited for you, pile 2. This is a beautiful time. You really do deserve this person. Love and light to you. Sending you all the best energy and support possible. And until we meet again, take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile 3, this is you. So this is your word, and this is your reading. So we're giving you some practical advice, what to do, what to heal, what to know in order to attract that significant other into your life. So let's go ahead and get you that word. Sing. Oh my goodness. Well, we couldn't. That's beautiful. Singing, bringing in that vibration, hiring up, really getting to that higher vibration, singing. It really doesn't matter if you've got a good voice or not. Just get into there and sing, and, get into that bathroom, that bathtub, anywhere that echoes, or anywhere. Just also hearing your voice, I think, is really, really, really important. We talked about this in pile 2 in a different way, like reconnecting to the voice, right? The other thing that I'm getting too, it's very important. Again, this is sort of obvious tips, but let's see how they integrate into the specific messages, or the specific for the general reading messages that we can get for you. But, the types of songs that we listen to are very powerful. The energy that we let into our lives are very powerful. I would choose songs that have a very specific meaning, like a really high kind of vibration, to bring in that energy and get you ready for that significant other. So let's get in here and say, oh, there you go. It's good to feel good. Hello. We couldn't have asked for anything more, right? Passion, Archangel Haniel. I love Archangel Haniel. Trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. Okay, so there's a take your power back, Archangel Raziel. Use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. I can already feel the power that you have, pile 3. Charming, self-confident, passionate, restless. Immediate action, a challenge you can successfully manage. A passionate relationship. So I feel as though for some of you, you might be in and around some energy coming in. You're still looking for it. 3 of staves. I'm sorry. And then the Ace of Staves reverse. Okay, my goodness, how much passion do you have here? I mean, we've got passion. Okay, so there's now on a practical level, you could have a lot of fire in your chart. Definitely Sagittarius, something like that. Somebody coming in as a Sagittarius, a lot of fire in your chart. Aries also. I'm not feeling Aries as much, but there's definitely like fire in your chart. Also a fiery nature. I can see for some of you, again, this is a general reading, but I can see pile 3 for some of you, when you do get angry, you might be slow to anger, but when you do get angry, oh, woe is me. The good thing about you though is like when it's out, it's done. you're done. You really, you find that cathartic. But yeah, I definitely would not want to anger you. And for those of you, you might actually be singers already. There's incredible amount of energy. There's incredible amount of passion with you, pile 3. Now, you've not always, how do we say it? You've not always integrated it in the most beneficial way for you. That's the thing about that power. That's the thing about that beautiful energy of fire too. It can consume you also, right? And I feel as though you've had these backwards and forwards moments where you integrate your passion and you focus on your passion in a very specific way. You can get these dynamic results, but sometimes you can also use it against yourself. There's also I'm getting you're very quick to react sometimes. That's something that you already should be, if this is resonating already, this pile, this reading, that's something that you're very aware of. It's something that you've been working on. I see some of you sort of like 1, 2, 3, calming yourself down before you react. So some of you may be Leos too, quick to react, quick to defend. Now, I want to be clear here, not necessarily defending yourself, but you're quick to defend others. There's a sense of injustice that you cannot stand. You're one of those people who are here to sort of clear the earth of what no longer works, right? And the reason why we're telling you all of this stuff is because you bring that energy into, looking for love and your love life. And it can be all consuming, right? I feel as though there's no easy way to say it, Paul. I'm just going to say it. I really just give you the messages the way that I'm getting it. How you interpret it, of course, is completely and totally up to you. But it's almost like you consume the other person in a way. And you guys can burn out quite quickly. And this is something that you've done before. There's so much passion, there's so much intensity that very few people can, in some ways, and very few lovers, people coming in, can keep up with that in a way. Now, this can be quite exciting, so I don't want to tell you not to do that, but there is a way to sort of not pull back that energy, but work with that energy slightly differently to integrate it, to maintain that energy of passion all the way through, instead of having that passion and having to sort of like fizzle out a little bit. And that's what we're here to do, to give you some practical advice. So I feel as though, you do have these sort of ebbs and flows. And I feel as though this does happen with a lot of people. When you first get into a relationship, everything's really great. And then it's sort of like, but there is that passion, and there is that sense of newness. And there's something that is sort of activated within you. You love that sense of newness, I feel like, pile 3, which is absolutely wonderful. But then when that sense of newness sort of like falls away, you sort of get bored quite easily. Now, I actually personally, on a personal note, I totally understand this. I really, really genuinely do. I totally understand where you're coming from. But I feel as though, that passionate burnout for you is something that you're looking to maintain. So there's a few different things that we can have you do that. I feel as though you do have a self-confidence already, and you do have that passionate understanding, but there is a side of you again, and this is, to certain degrees, this has come up in the in pile 1 and pile 2, but of course different kinds of energies. Your energy is completely different to pile 1 and pile 2, but there is a little bit of a masking that we've got going on here, pile 3, if I'm being totally honest, with the power that you have when you first come into a relationship. You use that passion as a way to control the relationship, or the way to have power. So when it fizzles out, you do get a little bit, what do we do next? But if you take your power back before you go back into this cycle, then there is a sort of a constant building in a relationship that you can go in and do, instead of this like going all in, all or nothing, and then like with this passion and then having it fizzle out pretty easily. You can actually go in the other way a little bit and have that passion sort of build. So the way in which you do that is you're going to have to take a little bit of a long look at the way in which you use power to control, the way in which you use passion in order to control the situation, not just in love affairs, but just in general. So there's definitely a connection to passion and power with you. And it's, again, we don't want you to shift perspective. All of these are just a little bit of a shift. Just ask yourself, you have a lot of courage. So I have no doubt, pile three, that you're willing to do the work, but really look into your essence of control. Are you in, I think this happened in pile one too, but are you, are you using control, or are you in an alignment? So, there are certain situations, if you look back, that you felt like you may have been in an alignment. We're talking when you look back on previous relationships with love affairs, but actually there was a sense of control on your side and not wanting to let down your guard. And in that way, let's constantly move. Let's make this fun. Let's do this. Let's do that. And there was a real lack of intimacy in that way, if we're being honest, pile three. So there's a way in which to not shift your personality. You are fun. You are vivacious. You are brilliant. For some of you might actually already be singers. But for those of you who aren't, bringing in that aspect of self and using your voice again, but using it with a different kind of intention. Instead, go back into where you did actually give away your power. There's a sense of intimacy there that might frighten you a little bit at your core. And what you're being asked to do is to go back and heal that sort of like inner child sense of self. That sort of like underbelly. There's a little bit of sadness. There's you gave yourself to the wrong kind of people at some point, or you gave yourself in situations that you weren't that happy with, and and I feel as though that's been masked a little bit. So that can be. I want to be really careful here. We want you to be the best person that you can be. And just, there's been a lot of work on your past. There's been a lot of work on healing past relationships. This is just about going back and really just going right back into that wound one more time and releasing all of the past relationships where you did actually give up maybe a little bit of that control, and then when you went back into relationships later on, you over anticipated that need for control. So there's been that sort of not that balance. Like you either were too open and then people took advantage, and then you shut down a little bit. There was an essence of control, but it was masked with this sort of vivaciousness and the sense of passion that burns out very quickly. So in order to get that balance back, you're being asked to really go back. You've done a lot of work. You've done a lot of healing. Release that last part, and forgive yourself for not having those boundaries sort of earlier on. And then when you pull your power back, what you'll find is that your power comes back with this renewed sense of power, but renewed sense of passion, which is a little bit different in how you'll use it. Instead of using it to sort of mask the idea of intimacy and fun, you'll use it in a way to pull in your ideal mate. You'll use it in a way to, again, sort of build up to that passion. Use your passion differently. And dare I say it, pile three, make them work for your passion. Absolutely. You are absolutely 150 in percent control here. Use your feeling good back into your own skin, back into your sense of self, back into this renewed sense of power by your forgiveness of yourself. And instead of waiting, feel good about where you are and the passion that you have, and ready to use it and integrate it into a new relationship in a brand new way, which ironically enough does give you firm and total control without actually having to incite that firm and total control, without having to instigate it, right? So it's a small sort of tweak in a way. It's a small sort of tweak in how you use your power and reclaiming that power. There's just a slither of it that's just sort of been, again, dumbed down. You don't have to go searching for it that much. It's probably in and around your heart chakra here. And, a challenge you can successfully manage. Let's be clear, it's not a challenge. This is not a challenge for you. This is just the last part of the healing journey that you need to shift your perspective, not have to rely on the control anymore because of your past, and really integrate your passion in a brand new way and be able to utilize it in this like gorgeous way, which actually will bring you far more fun and freedom that you've even had in the past, right? and will be able to sort of sustain these relationships that you have. You'll be able to sustain these relationships, with this relationship coming in, and it will build into something that's just absolutely beautiful instead of sort of building early and then fizzling out. So yeah, there's nothing to wait for. I feel as though the relationship that's coming to you, it's very, very close. If it's not in and around you, which is why this information is coming in, so you can get hold of it, integrate it really quickly, do the last sort of, tweaking, shifting, so you'll be ready for this relationship. So you don't approach this relationship the way that you have in the past. So sing, rejoice, sing and rejoice, and work with your inner child a little bit too, with the singing and the rejoicing and the forgiveness of the old stuff. Again, want to remind you, all of this work has already been done. This is just the tiny 1% of it that just needs to be integrated. It's almost like you've done all the work. I'm getting this seeing now, this vision. You've done all the work. What you're doing is you're doing the last piece of it, and then you're sewing yourself up into this really beautiful sort of package ready to be opened by somebody else. I know it may not be the perfect way to show you, but that's what I'm being shown. So I like to tell, I like to really say exactly what it is that I'm being shown, because I don't like to filter the information, because once you start filtering, it can go haywire. So that's what I'm seeing. So pile 3, with all of that passion, yeah, you're not turning this against yourself anymore. You're using this again in and I wouldn't even say a brand new way, just a sort of, a little bit of a different vibration. Again, a little bit of a different sort of tweaking, and getting out there and doing things very much on your own terms, properly, where you have more power than you thought you had, if that makes any sense. Whereas before you thought you had power, but you weren't really getting exactly what you wanted. This is the way to get everything. And again, to maintain that, make them work for it, have some fun, bring in that beautiful sense of self and adventure that you absolutely have, pile 3. And this person coming in is in and around you. So once you get and integrate all of this beautiful information that we have for you, it's going to be in a timely manner, and then off you pop into your brand new life and love affair. So I'm very, very excited for you, pile 3. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment. Always love hearing from you. A sense of love and light. I am sending so much love and light and support to you at this day. Always wishing you the best. And until we meet again, pile 3, you take care of yourself now. Bye-bye.